Hi guys, so crafty for sure. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I really haven't been feeling all that great lately. I'm struggling a little bit mentally, but that is improving already. But I was sick at the beginning of the year and, you know, that nasty crap. And I'm still not back. I'm still not back to my normal self. So I don't have energy for anything like that, but that's part of my journey. That's part of the story is, you know, even when I'm not feeling good and even when I'm not there, that's part of it. I look like a hot mess, but again, that's part of it. So I figured I would show you my monthly budget. Remember in an earlier video, I said our income is quite high. However, our expenses are as high as our income. So that way, I will show you guys. That's why we're actually considered a low income, even though it's actually high. So on average, a year, my husband brings in approximately $200,000. And I broke it down to how much a month, how much bi-weekly, how much weekly, okay? Now, we run this off of a 10-month budget, and that's specifically because there's usually 2 months a year. Wow, that was weird. There's usually a 2 months during the year. Often it's January or December and January. Sometimes it's November, December, that we don't work very much. This year it happened to be December, January. So that's why we base it off a 10-month budget. So by the time we get to November, everything that needs to be paid, we should already have the money set aside for. So you can see my categories down here. And those categories actually coincide with the color of my binders. All right. So, for loading my husband's trailer, he needs $200 a month on a bad month. Well, you break that down, it's actually $2,400 a year. And we just break it down. Now, the stuff that's highlighted yellow are we need to continually add money into those. Anything that's not is the top-ups. And then you have ones like this, which is a car payment that's just kind of halfway highlighted. There's a couple of them in here. The other one, there's one here, there's one here, there's a couple here. And those are we're not, this one especially, this is a car payment. We currently do not have a car payment. However, we are intending to get some sort of vehicle payment probably this spring, and that's just because when we moved here, we paid everything off. We have no credit card debt. We have our car we own outright. Sorry, I just peeled an orange for my daughter. So we own all of these things outright. So the only payment we actually have is the house payment. That's it. That is the only payment we have. So credit companies actually prefer if you have 2 pieces of physical property, such as a house, a car, 2 cars, something like that, that you are making payments on. Your credit builds much, much faster that way. So we know this, and so we're planning on having to do that, some sort of car, vehicle, whatever payment. So that's what that's for. But all of these, like monthly truck maintenance, $2,000 a month in truck maintenance. Truck licensing, $170. This is the one I really want you guys to see. This is taxes. This is not actual tax on the money that you make. This is actually taxes that big rigs, we happen to have a log truck, but these are actually taxes that the big rigs pay every single month. It's road use, it's heavy vehicle. There's about 4 of them, and you literally have to budget out over $1,000 every single month. Now, I hear it all the time. Well, on your fuel, you don't pay taxes at the pump. Well, fuel is diesel. You're paying at the pump nearly $4 a gallon for diesel, taxed. Well, guess what? At the pump, even with the commercial exemptions, untaxed, we're paying nearly $4 a gallon for diesel. So yeah, $1,200 and $4,500 a month. That's pretty much $6,000 a month that we're paying for diesel fuel and for road use taxes. So yeah, we're paying a lot. Like I said, our expenses are very, very high. $1,400 a month in motel fees if my husband needs it. You know, let's see, gas for the cars. We actually really don't even use this much. And that's usually only when we do go out of town that we use that much. Household, we usually don't use that much either. Now, this set of 6 here, propane, electricity, phone, internet, trash, TV, on this sheet, they're actually broken down individually. But when I add them all together, I actually just have a utilities tab that I put this under, okay? You know, and these are just kind of keep going. You know, the house payment, we don't pay $1,800 a month in house, but because we base it on the 10-month budget, by the time we get to that $1,800, or by the time we get to November, we'll actually have 2 house payments sitting waiting to be paid in cash. So that way we have that money. You know, eating out, entertainment, those are just top-ups because we don't use them. Or if we do, we usually don't use that many, we just top it up. Pellets, like that's one of our main sources of heat is pellets. We actually have pellet and forced air, but we don't know exactly how much we're going to use, so we're figuring high. We think we are only going to use about 2 tons. But it's about $310 to $315 a ton. So we're saving up every month, so that way once it's time for us to buy pellets, we actually have that money. Electronics, same thing. We really don't use this one very often, but we try to build it, you know, $600 a year, because somebody's going to need a new phone. My husband decided today he actually is going to need a new phone. His phone's being weird. Here's the other one. This one is taxes. It's in my pink other binder. Now, taxes on this one is actual money taxes. This is federal and state taxes. Now, from experience, because we've done this long enough, we know that we need about $7,000 or a little better than a year that we have to pay in taxes. So we break it down, and by the time tax time comes, because we break it down in 10 months, by the time the taxes come, we will actually have taxes ready to go at that point in time. Down here we have life insurance, because my husband and I both have life insurance, and credit cards. This credit cards, most of our subscriptions or stuff, or if I buy books for like my Kindle and stuff, that's all actually linked to a credit card, low balance credit card, so that way if anybody happens to get it, it doesn't go anywhere. So even for us, that $300 is well over what we need. But I just thought I would show you. I actually have to do it on a ledger sheet because there's so much. And then over here you see November, December. Well, his trailer money, we're going to keep adding to his trailer money, his food money, but the shop supplies, maintenance, truck licensing, his fuel, his truck insurance, the truck road taxes, all of this we should already have built up. By the end of October, we should have all of this built up to where we actually have money set aside in cash that we can actually put in the bank to pay all of those, and we don't have to wait for a paycheck to do it. So that's actually how we have to do it because of our slow times during the year. That's my little binder. I keep it in just to keep everything close. Just a simple binder. This page actually usually slides right there in the front cover. So it took me a couple days, and this is about the 6th draft to get it how I needed it to read. Remember I told you all the 6 for utilities? Well, that's our monthly allotment for utilities. So this is our monthly budget for these items. This is how much of these we used in the month of January of all of these things. We didn't do any car maintenance. We didn't do any car registration because that was done in December. We do it or November, something like that. We do it every 6 months. You know, the insurance, the car registration, we did our Jeep in December, but it was like $330. And we have our van that has to be done by the end of February, and we figure that's going to be about $150 or so. Well, between January's and February's, we'll have $120, so we'll be really close to that. You know, it keeps going down. See, I told you we don't use the 240, and this was doing that 1,000-mile round trip back home. It was kind of an emergency trip, and we still didn't use the $240 worth of gas for the Jeep. Household, again, we don't use the 2,400 usually. And remember, we just moved, and we moved 500 miles away, so this is me continually restocking the pantry that was completely empty because we depleted it on purpose. Utilities, $1,266, we only used $829. So that actually left us with a balance. But we're putting in $1,266 again, so actually by the end of February, before we make the February's payment, we'll have $1,703 in there to make that next payment. Office supplies, now this one is circled. Oops, I needed to circle one more, which is that one. Office supplies, this one is circled. We have a monthly budget of $100. This one was $105. We had to buy new ink for the printer, and we had to buy a filing basket. This is what it looks like, to put all of our receipts and stuff in, because because of the business, we actually have to keep track of those, and getting the bin is just the easiest way to do it. House maintenance, we actually did some house maintenance. We had to buy a new motor and such for our pellet stove, a new fan motor and blower motor, so that's what that was for. The house payment, that is our house payment. But again, we're leaving out that much, so that way, by the time we get to November, we have house payments. We didn't use anything out of our crap. This is the other one. We went way over. We bought dinner for my husband's parents, which was $50. And again, we had that emergency trip out of town. So to compensate for that, because it's supposed to be $240 and we were over, well, this is all we're going to get for the month of February. So that way, we make sure that between January and February, it averages out to the correct amount. And then we will top it off in March. We'll top it off again to that $200 mark or $240 mark. Entertainment, we didn't go out and do anything, so that one didn't get spent at all. Gifts, we did buy something small for my mom. So now we're up to 108 instead of 120, same thing. Savings, 5% of what my husband makes goes into savings. Well, if you look up here, you see there's 2.5%. Well, 2.5 and 2.5 is 5%. This is 5%, that's 10%. This goes into a savings account for my son and daughter, so that way they will have that college. Sorry, that was another business phone call. It was my husband. So remember, this money that's going into savings for my kids, this is our why. This is why we're doing this. Now, my husband's January paycheck was very, very small compared to what we're used to. Remember, we're used to, $16,000, and it was actually even less than that $8,300 for biweekly. It was less than that. So, because of that, that's why these numbers are so low. Oh, look, medical. We allow the $2,640. We use $2,286. But this is a rollover one, and so now at the beginning of February there's $2,994. Now our medical insurance payment will come out of that again, so that's how it keeps doing that. School, neither of my kids are in school, but in fall they will both be enrolled in a program, and it'll cost us about $600 a month, which is fine. Like I said, taxes, we're used to this. So we're going to budget out about $715 a month. Life insurance, credit cards, Again, we didn't use all of our credit cards, and this is actually pretty high for us. So this is our budget. That's why I have to use a ledger, because it is so big and so involved. And then my next page will do monthly budget, and then it'll say March start, and it'll continue on from there. Start, used, add, start, used, you know, and that's how it'll go for March and the next few months. And I will continue to do this, and I'll just keep them so that way I can keep an eye on them. Now, because we really didn't make enough to be doing this month, you always have to plan and prepare. So this one is our truck binder. I did spend some money because I have to have them broke down so much, so I spent some money. Now I did make some of my own. Now, so this is, you know, my husband's trailer money, which I do keep in an envelope inside that. His food. Now you notice there's no money in here, but there's index cards. Well, these index cards say this is how much we were supposed to add on top of our regular February numbers. So as we get paid, our February ones will get stuffed. And then as there's extra money, we'll start working on all of these numbers here. Now, if you look, this is shop supplies. Now on the back of shop supplies, it says we have to add $10 a month, February through October, to make up that $84. Same thing with the truck maintenance. It's $179 a month, February through October, to make it up. Now, those months where we get those really big paychecks, because a big paycheck for us is over $20,000, and we will have the extra money. And if there's enough extra, I will do this entire $1,604 in one shot. And when I do that, this index card will come out. Now, if I make, you know, if I can only do $179, right here I'll put minus $179 and then February, or a date, and then this is my new total, and then it'll keep going until I actually get it paid off. And once I have that paid off, the index card will come out. So this is a tracker for me, you know, truck licensing. All of my binders currently look like this with note cards in them. I have to make a couple more envelopes here, which is why this is here. This is a taxes one, and there's something else in here. What's this one? This one is, oh, fuel. We have insurance, truck insurance, and fuel that I need to make envelopes for to stick in here. But that way, it's all right there. Now, my husband typically buys all of his food and his motel rooms out of town on credit card. And of course we track that, and he knows which cards he put it on because he tracks that in his computer. And my job is to make sure that I have the designated allotted amount of money to pay his monthly out of town food costs. This is when he stops and gets you know, like at Port of Subs or Subway, and gets a sandwich while he's driving, because he's not going to be home for 2 days. So he'll get a sandwich for lunch one day, and then he'll go out and he'll have, you know, a $10 dinner or something like that. And so that's what this money will be designated for. Shop supplies, anything we need for the shop. This last month we got, I don't know, I got him a handful of things that he needed for his shop. Glass cleaner, paper towels, yeah, a handful of things. He gets like $120 a month or something for his shop. Yeah, $120 a month for his shop, and we use $36 for that. So it means I have to put 120 minus 36 leaves me $84. So I have to put that $84 in here on top of the 120 for February, and that's how this one works. Truck maintenance, we did use some of the truck maintenance stuff, oil change, you know, oil filters, fuel filters, that kind of stuff. So that's what that's from. And that's just how I do it. So all my binders look like this. There is no cash stuffing because there's no cash to stuff right now. But we should be getting a paycheck here in the next 10 days. And it should be pretty good size. And I will be able to do some stuffing on that. Probably won't be a lot. But the nice thing is we get paid sometimes once, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times a month. And because we've done this enough, I can judge when we get paid as to how many paychecks we're gonna get, so I can stuff accordingly that way, so that helps. But again, accountability check-ins, this is part of my journey, part of my story. I haven't been feeling good, stressed, overwhelmed, everything, no energy, but again, it's part of my story, so I decided it was the best idea to share it with everybody too. I think that's it for now. I will see you guys, and hopefully we'll be able to do a cash stuffing next time. Bye.